Yeah, all good. All good. Good morning. Just going for a nice, beautiful spring morning walk. It's a nice, beautiful day here, and it's always good to go out for a walk every day in the morning, early morning, and sort of, you clear the mind and get some fresh air, so to speak. It's always good to get out there and go for a walk. And I was doing a bit of reflecting today on when I went out to America in '97 to do some football coaching for Britannia Soccer on a summer camp. I don't know if they're still around, Britannia. I don't know what happened to them, and I don't know if they've got similar sort of football coaching camps like that now. But it was an incredible experience for me to go out there and immerse myself in American sporting culture and learn a lot, and be able to use my sort of coaching skills with sort of transparent groups of ability. We had some of the footballers on the camps was highly skilled and had been playing for a long time, and others had never kicked the ball before. And it was a great way to sort of to as a coach to sort of learn and plan. And we worked really hard as coach. We really put a lot of effort into the planning, and and we were treated with a lot of respect by the attendees, the footballers in the camp, and we had host families as well. They really were fantastic and incredible. They sort of put us up for a week or so, and we'd be coaching, and they'd show us around the state. And so the way it worked, we flew out to Washington D.C. and we had a meeting in like a hotel there that assigned us a group of coaches, and you got a car. They gave you a hire car, and you'd have different cities and states where you were sort of assigned to coach. And it was interesting because it was back before you had sat navs, and so you were relying on sort of like maps to get you from A to B. And obviously America's a big country, and you sort of could be driving for hours. You got the map, and you got the coaches in the car, and trying to figure out how to get from one city to the other city type thing. And sometimes you'd sort of change like coaches too, that changed things up a little bit. So you weren't with the same. I wasn't anywhere with the same coaches for the whole 2 months, and that was good too because you meet people from different coaches from different sort of. Predominantly they were from the UK, so you'd sort of get to meet coaches and make friends and learn, get ideas, and it was an incredible experience because the host families will sort of take you sightseeing, and anything from say in Boston we got to go on like a cruise type thing and do some whale watching and go watching bands as well. And for me, it was quite ironic really, because the first city I went to go coach was assigned to was Boston, and I'd been to Boston with my family when I was 5 to go visit family that we have in Boston, some cousins and stuff like that. I didn't get a chance to see him in '97 because you're only there for a week, and it's quite intense, the coaching and that sort of stuff really. So I was kind of contemplating maybe giving him a buzz type thing, but then you've only got that sort of week type thing, so I didn't get a chance to go and see him. But then after Boston, went to different states and cities, and if I remember correctly, I'd gone on to Pennsylvania. It was an incredible experience as well. Baltimore, Tennessee, and then finally, I remember like the final week really well. It was in Washington D.C. and it was interesting because every state was different. Every city was different. You'd learn and a different vibe, and I really enjoyed every city I was in. It was all unique and had its own unique experience. Absolutely, for sure. It was kind of unique every city, and I think that obviously working with different coaches too was quite good too, because you'd sort of speak to coaches, get ideas, and so on and so forth. And you'd stay with these sort of host families, and every family I stayed with was amazing, fantastic people, really, really great people. And we'd talk and sort of share things, sort of, culturally, and talk about football. And I'm really big into music, and I love grunge, obviously. And being in America in the mid-90s, the grunge scene was phenomenal. And I suppose that's probably why I enjoyed Washington, D.C. Was probably the highlight. I enjoyed every city too, but Washington, D.C., because I'd go out and watch bands a lot. It was the final week. And I'd go out there and sort of watch bands. Obviously, the grunge scene was in Seattle, across the other side of the country. But Washington, D.C., the city, was an incredible experience. So I'd sort of go out and sort of watch bands as well, and then get up in the morning and do some coaching and work really hard. And yeah, it was a great experience. Great experience. I think for me, some of the lessons I learnt on that trip, you probably don't realize at the time, but as you go through life, they sort of stay with you forever. And I think the leadership, and bear in mind, this was back in the day where the internet was relatively new, but you didn't have any social media, nothing like that. So you weren't taking pictures and posting them. You had the old disposable cameras, but it was great because, driving the car from one state to the other, and get some grunge music on, and you meet some great people, get out there and coach, and you talk about football the all hours of the morning. And so I learned a lot about leadership. I learned a lot about sort of coaching to groups of transparent ability, because obviously I mentioned before about players who were sort of like exceptional, they've been playing for clubs and teams, but you had players who'd never played football before, hadn't kicked the ball. And that as a coach, I think, was a great experience that would sort of stay with me forever, really. And the immersion, I really immersed myself in the American sporting culture. I really loved the American sporting culture, and I found myself immersing myself in that sporting culture, and sort of, learning a lot as well, to be fair. And there were times that we sort of got the opportunity to sort of play games amongst ourselves, or play games against the footballers as well. And so it would mix it up, some of the footballers, some of the coaches, and play. And because I had some pace, I got the nickname the Flash, because I had a bit of pace, and used to like to get the ball and sort of sprint and beat a few players and go around people. And yeah, it was an incredible experience, really. For sure. So I don't know if you've had, watching this video, a similar experience. Of maybe you were a coach, maybe you've coached in the past for Britannia, or maybe a similar organisation out there. And I'm not here to make recommendations or advice, suggestions for anyone to sort of to go out there and do the same if the opportunity presents itself. But I'm just saying, anecdotally, what I learned from the experience, I think, was invaluable. Because you can't really teach this sort of stuff on sort of courses, so to speak. You're living the experience. You're out there, you're living it. It's a unique experience, and it gives you opportunities to grow as a professional, as a person. But that's my take on it. Great to hear your take on it too.